If you need the water, check the beaches in the Carolinas. If you need the mountains, try the Appalachian Trail. If you need the redwood trees, gotta go to Yosemite. If you need me, 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 I'll be in Kansas City.
Welcome to Kansas City Limits Radio. I'm your host, Robert Bierce, and today we've got in the studio Jillian and Josephine. We're going to learn about them and their whole story and the music and how they came to be. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors and thank them for the help they provide in bringing this programming to you. We want to thank Kansas City RVs, voted the #1 RV dealer here in Kansas City by Kansas City Star. We want to thank Area Musicians Promotional Resource, AMPR, Black Moon Media, our television partner, Briarfest 8, Levy Days at Mackin Park, North Kansas City, September 8th and 9th, a 2-day free-to-attend music event, 2 stages, over 24 bands, hot air balloons, food truck court, beer and wine sampling. Come see us. It's a free-to-attend event. The BBPA, Briarcliff Business Partner Alliance, the provider, founder, and supporter of Briarfest, a networking group in Kansas City. Knuckleheads KC, a music joint. Soundworks Recording Studio in Blue Springs. Summit Video. SNS Printing, and Kansas City Limits TV and radio. Welcome to the program. And my partner in crime here, Mr. J.E. Cornwell.
Nicely done, Robert. Well, welcome, ladies. We are so glad to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Josephine, you and I have been talking about this a long time, I think. We started early on, you and your mother. In fact, I got to go see you both. I don't know. Was it in July
Maybe, yeah.
at Vivo?
I don't know.
June or
Was it?
July, sometime this summer. I got to go over
Yeah.
and hang with your mom as you guys were performing. I think you did solos first and then came out together.
Yeah.
If that's-
I didn't know I couldn't play guitar, so
Well, actually,
having her with me really helped.
it was, and I met the gal too. That was there. Your mom introduced me. She is the gal doing the women's music.
Like the KC Women's Music Network, maybe?
Maybe. I
Okay.
don't know. She does a couple of gigs a month at Vivo, and I think she does one down at the place down in Merriam.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? That gal.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, I think that event that I was at, she had put that together.
It's been a wild summer.
We're gonna like figure out her name after and be like, oh, this is that girl.
Yeah.
We're gonna
It'll
remember.
be duh.
I'm like, faces, I'm good, yeah.
Nice gal. And she gave me her card, so I'm not sure what her name was. But anyway, it was a good show. We started, your Josephine's mother, Michelle, beautiful person. Her and I were talking about this show then. And so that's, been a while since we talked about getting you on the show. So I'm glad you guys are both here.
No,
Talking about
us
Michelle
too.
Duckworth.
Michelle
Yes.
Duckworth. Yes.
My
We'll give her a
mama.
plug.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's everything
She's
and everything
the grower of all
promoting.
those vegetables that Andy
Oh, yeah.
gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's obviously a breeder of dogs, is what I can tell.
Yeah, we have 6 dogs.
All
Holy
dogs.
cow.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Dogs, vegetables,
Nick
music.
and Missy got one of those, right?
Yeah,
Nick
they
Marshall?
did.
Yeah.
They named it Duck too.
Oh,
so
they did.
yeah,
What kind of dog?
they're pit bulls mixed with a double XL bully dog.
Wow.
They're
Yeah.
really cool
Yeah.
looking. And the one that Nick has, I get pictures that Missy posts up all the time.
All the
Those are-
time,
those are
yeah.
pretty cool dog. Okay, Robert, why don't you let the people know what's going on with these two?
Well, it's both of you have been doing music for Slow Steps Walking. You and I have been chatting since, 10 years.
I don't know
Oh my
what time
God.
it is anymore, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a few.
You and Jillian?
Well,
Yeah.
she when she first started, she was trying to get into the festival when I first started it. And to be honest, I didn't know her and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and
Nothing's changed there.
Well, true. But I will tell you what's awesome, and I'm just a testament to you. you just keep on cracking. You just keep on knocking.
Yeah, I'm a lifer.
Yeah, you'll come up to the top. So kudos to you. Tell us what your current project has been before we get into Briarfest, because I know some of that project that you're going to tell us what you're doing. You're probably going to perform at Briarfest. We're hoping.
Yep.
And when you guys come to Briarfest, it's you two bringing this sound,
Bringing it on.
Now, long before you guys got invited to Briarfest, how long have you guys been together playing?
I feel like just the beginning of maybe a little bit of last year. I feel like it was kind of winter time when we started doing it together. But I was doing stuff with Nate Gregory and doing a duo. And then he moved to Nashville, which was awesome. And I was like, oh my God, I still don't know how to play guitar yet. So
Well, let me interject there. That was the original lineup for Briarfest.
Yeah.
Was you and Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's doing it. He's doing the grind in Nashville, playing like 3 bars a night, it feels like. So, yeah.
And he's your age, right? Young guy.
Yeah, we're the same age, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you tell him to take his helmet?
No.
The world will come kicking at him. Outlaw Jim. I don't know if you know Jim Eaton. You know, Jim spent like 9 years in Nashville, and I go to him for any sort of Nashville Bible, do's and don'ts, and anyway. So it's a tough world, but if you make it out there, you can make it anywhere.
Right, you got to put your foot in to the mud.
Yeah. So how did you two meet now? Because obviously that changed things. And then did you approach her, or you approach her? How'd that collide?
So my mom approached, we met at Vivo. I saw her do a cover of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, and I was like, oh my God, that was really cool. And I didn't really talk to her after that for, I feel like probably almost 6 months. And then when Nate moved, my mom reached out to her because she was like, you're always doing stuff with guys. Like, what if we did something with a girl? Like, and I was like, that's a great idea, like empowering women. And so we reached out to her, and she was like, yeah, I'm along for the ride. And I was like, thank God, because
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what was that like for you? I mean, I know you've been doing your solo stuff and then colliding with someone else. Has that changed things for you as well?
Yeah, I've always been a solo artist, but I have been involved in like different like duos and bands and like whatever I can get,
You've been
get
in quite
into.
a bit of bands.
Yeah, a lot. So I just whatever, if it feels good and the collaboration is there and there's a good vibe, then that's awesome to connect with others.
Jillian,
that way,
are you a Kansas City gal?
I am. Yep.
So you've been around this town playing music a long time, right?
Technically, since I was 7 years old. So.
Yeah. And you had some
been a minute.
success early on too, right? Like Josephine.
Yeah. I oh my goodness, I used to do like the national anthems at all, and I still do that. And then I started actually, funny enough, I graduated early, started touring, made an album down in Texas, and got a manager like at the age of 17. And so just I've been doing it since I was a little kid. It's just been my number one thing. It's never gone away. It just sticks. So,
national anthems for what?
At Kauffman Stadium, at Arrowhead, for all like the different sporting teams around, the T-Bones, who are now the Monarchs, and
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just got to do
She
the
just
Casey
did
Current.
Cable Dahmer too,
And
right?
Cable Dahmer, yeah, that
we
was
both
fun.
got to do that one, which
Cable
was cool.
Dahmer.
Yeah, for the UFC fights.
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah.
We're interested in chatting with Cable Dahmer sometime.
We
here in the
definitely
future.
are. The Cable Dahmer group.
So let's revisit what you were just saying, because it takes a lot to keep on putting yourself out there and driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with you, and then maybe you follow up with it.
Okay.
What keeps you on fire?
This is gonna sound cheesy, but music feels like my superpower.
Okay.
I love it. It's just one of those things. Like I feel like I could say every like cliche about music, but it just feels like it's in my blood and in my soul.
It's your aura.
It's just my It's always been my number one thing.
On.
Yep, since I was a little kid.
That's
what I do.
And that's cool that you found that.
Yeah. It's cool that sometimes we don't find certain passions until later in life, but I feel like I found my big passion when I was a little kid, which it feels really special.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's still hanging out with you.
Yep. Still hanging up.
Yeah. You too.
For me, I feel like this is basically our job, but to make it seem like it's not a job as much as possible. So, and when I get to have fun doing it, that's what just makes me keep doing it. And I feel like also going out to see people to do this stuff too is also where I'm like, oh my God, I want to do what they're doing. And that's where I'm like, I get the click in my head. I'm like, okay, I need to keep improving and keep doing better. And it just makes me want to keep doing it and get better at it. Yeah.
You have to every time feel like you're growing.
Yeah.
You know, because you the best music in life for some artists is not written until, unfortunately, their very end.
Yeah.
But they weren't as popular at their very end, you know. So, but who cares? That song is the dealio, you know. And someone that really follows them realizes that.
We were talking about that in Nashville. We were like, even the best people can always improve. Like, you can always get better at music. And I think that I'm at that step right now where I'm trying to improve more and more every day, being at the age I am. So
I feel like every time, like we just took a week-long trip in Nashville with Dan and her mom and Kitty and our photographer friend. And every time I go to Nashville, I split my time between here in Nashville, and every time I'm there, and I think you guys felt and saw it too, you get so inspired because you're just like, there's all these different levels of musicianship, and I don't know.
Well, I think success, the success barometer is different for everybody. You know, are you going to be you're never going to hit your goal if you're not going to sell a million albums, or is it going to be your goal to, you know, to play live music wherever you go, right? And I've seen lots of different bands that we've had in on this show that I go and watch. You know, they are still climbing that rock to success, right? Where they, you know, I've gone and we've had some great bands that have had some success but are content where they are, you know. So I think that level of success
I think it's
different.
ideal it's like the hope that you're gonna be super successful and get famous or whatever, but for me it's just like I just want one person to listen to the song and relate to it in their own way, however they perceive it, and just be like, wow, that's a good song. Just one
when
person.
somebody plays your song for the first time and you get to hear them sing your song, I think that's going to be a huge benefit.
Having just that, I had an effect on somebody.
What was that effect?
What was that effect? You know, I mean, you know, like good, bad, or different. I used to think writing songs, you know, there was a specific person, but now I think writing songs, there's a specific emotion that you're specifically trying to highlight that maybe didn't have a voice before. So, so you guys, you're moving around, you're doing lots of shows. You guys are doing lots of shows together. Give us just a little snapshot of what's going on between now and Briarfest 8 on that September 9th. Like, where are you guys at from here to there?
Oh, goodness. I'm all over KC. I know a show up in Iowa this coming weekend. And I'm trying to think where else. I think right now all over KC and then Iowa, because we just got back from Nashville, had a couple shows there.
Okay.
And then
you have some standard haunts here in town?
Yeah, oh gosh, people ask like, where do you play at normally? I'm like, all over. Like I can't.
I know I never have
that.
the right answer.
Well, you know, and it's hard for someone. You guys do originals.
Originals and covers, both, and
it's hard to find a theater where there's a lot of welcoming for just the original all the time.
Sure.
They want you to intertwine those covers.
That's why I like Record Bar. They are really prominent about wanting you to do originals. So I really love that place for that.
And Knuckleheads
too. Yeah, they're
for sure.
They're great places to play at for that.
Knuckleheads.
I can't say it like you.
That's all right. Frank just like the fact we said it 3 times.
Okay, so there's a couple of things on here on both of your
spreadsheets,
your forms that you did for us, and thank you for that.
Thanks for turning on your paperwork on 2 separate forms. That really threw us off.
Right. But you both kind of, they're not the same in how you put it on your form, but basically, you know, how you got your start. So we kind of talked a little bit, Jillian, you've been playing a long time, but how did you get involved?
So I started out, a classmate was like, hey, do you want to take piano lessons? And I'm like, yes. And then that didn't work. Like, I was just like, this is terrible. I have to like practice. This is not fun. And she's like, well, I do voice lessons too. So I started taking voice, and that stuck. And then I started performing all over different like little recitals, little grand openings of store, just whatever I could do when I was a kid. You know, I was like 7, 8 years old when this was happening. And then I started songwriting. I started recording when I was 10. I have a really quite embarrassing CD now. As an adult, I listen back.
Hear that.
I'm going to show it to you. It'll pop up. But you know, for a 10-year-old, it was all right. Yeah. And then I started songwriting when I was 11. And then I kept performing. I had a really supportive family, and anywhere I could have an opportunity to perform.
So were your mom and dad taking you to these gigs?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
well,
all
what
the
were you
bars
recording with when you were 10? What were you doing?
I
Cassette player?
had covers, and then
Okay.
it was like karaoke tracks, and then my vocal coach was like
Okay.
playing piano.
Cool.
It
Oh
was,
my
God.
All right.
yeah. But
All right.
actually, one at Brent from the Elders, it was his studio that we recorded at.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
So it was cool for a fourth grader. I thought it was
Right?
fun. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Those are the pieces of radio I'm trying to pull out of you. Consider any of that, okay?
Oh,
I
yeah.
Met anyone in the alley that's from Kansas City
Yeah.
and they inspired you, we want to know that. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Josephine, same thing.
So I think I was 5 years old. I think I was 5 at the time, and I wrote like a little bit of a song. My mom was like, "Oh my God!" Like she showed a bunch of people at her work, but they didn't get the hint that I wanted to be a musician. So I was like put into sports my whole life, and I sucked at every single one. And then once I was like, I think 10 or 11, I got put into School of Rock, which was like my life savior. And I feel like
Yay,
it's
School of Rock.
yeah, right. I feel like
Yeah.
it's for the kids who like don't do sports, aren't good at all that stuff. The kind of weird kids, you know.
sure.
And so I got put into that, and that's where I got my music taste at such a young age. Just learning all those hits and all those oldies. And I did that up until my junior year. I switched. There's 3 locations in Missouri, so I went to the one in Lee Summit and then one in Parkville for a little bit. But that's basically where I got at. But then I started, I think, I don't know. I might have been actually, I was probably younger than that. But I went out to Llewellyn's, Josh Solomon, Sheila Solomon. I don't know if you know who that is.
I do.
But he was like, "You got to come out to Llewellyn's, like the Cowardly Lions, like they're so amazing." And I was like,
I was there, by the way.
"You were? Oh
When
my
you got up with Nick?
God."
Aw.
Well, no, it was my first ever time.
Oh.
I was really little. Honestly, I don't think I was even a freshman. I think I might have been in 7th grade then.
Okay.
But I saw them and I was like, oh my God, they're so good. And then I didn't see them again until I think that's when I was a freshman. Nick Marshall came to Iron Kettle Brewing, and it's like 5 minutes from my house. So I was like, we have to go see him. And then after that, me and my mom started going out to Scotty's gigs, to Nick's gigs, then to the whole Cowardly Lions. And they really got me into the scene and really helped me with that.
I think that's when it's probably been, I don't know, you were much younger looking.
Yeah.
And, you were a little shy about getting up there. But Nick is the one that told me, because we had already done a TV segment with
Mhm.
Cowardly Lions. I think we were at Barley's. And he said, "Oh, man, you got to come check out this show. I've got this gal. She's really good." So, and it was the Llewellyn's Lee Summit.
Yeah.
And so I went out there and you guys were playing. Holy hell, that was awesome. So, and usually Nick is Nick.
Yeah.
So,
No shoes, hair flying everywhere.
taking his breaks with, anyhow. But that was when I first saw you. And that I think was, it was about 3 years ago, I
Yeah.
guess.
So I probably was either sophomore or freshman, or it might have been summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
going
once you
into
got up
sophomore year.
there, once you got, your mojo going, yeah, you opened up for sure.
When
So-
it clicks, it clicks.
Yeah. And I really struggled with I could always go up and sing in front of everyone, I feel like, but I always struggled with my stage performance and
Right.
feeling the music. But I feel like just recently, in the past couple months, I've progressed in that way. I've gotten a lot better at it. Not caring.
More in tune to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just said it, not caring.
Yeah. Well, Nick Marshall, he said that. I think he was talking to me and my mom. He was like, no one cares. You just have to feel the music. You are one with the crowd. They want to see that from you.
Give them your soul.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, that really hit me. And I was like, you're so right. I was like, you're right. So, yeah. But once he told me that, I was like, I have to, because my mom always told me this, you can be a great singer and not move that much and people are going to think you're boring. Or you can be a great performer and not sing that well, but people are going to think you're a great performer.
Well said.
But having both is like a whammy.
Yeah,
you
it
just
is.
hitting them with
Yep.
it. So, yeah.
Good advice. Good advice.
Moving through this list, you guys, did you do this together or did you do it separately?
We did it separately, but I was like, Jillian, please tell me what you did. Put on for some of these questions. 'Cause I didn't know what to say.
Copycat teacher.
The next topic that you both put on your form was your goals, your career, where you see yourself.
I tried putting it in a different way so it didn't look like.
But it's the same question.
Copy my homework.
So Jillian, what as far as you've. Gosh, it's hard to say that you haven't done just about everything in your lifetime, and you're still a young woman. So, but what's your immediate goals and long term?
I would love, releasing more original music soon. I know that's maybe, down here, but it's still a goal. It's a lot of time and money that we put into that. I'd love to do an EP. I have a whole vision for an EP. It's just getting it together. And then I would love to do more touring. I love live gigging is my thing, and being on the road is so much fun. So doing on the road.
Well, if it's anything like the pictures that you had from Nashville, I would imagine that would be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a time. We had a time. Well, yeah. But no, just some touring. Opening for more people that I admire, and just doing the thing. Those are a couple immediate goals. So.
Awesome.
Who manages you guys?
My mom.
I would say
she does everything for me.
I was like, her mom. I'm just on my own. Right now.
You're managing yourself.
I'm managing
your mom's
myself.
managing you.
Yeah.
And then you guys are doing these things together when you're available.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And also with Deanne, you guys do a lot of stuff with Deanne.
We feel like we.
Yeah, we.
I mean,
I
you
feel
did
like
the
our harmonies just do really good together.
The women's gig at the Gospel Lounge here last
with Emma
month, right?
Jo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Emma
that
Jo.
was so fun.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, we're in the studio here at Kansas City Limits with Jillian and Josephine, learning all about what they've been doing with their musical desires and what they're going to keep on doing. So let's talk about Briarfest just real quick.
Yeah.
So when you guys prepare, have you guys done festivals? Have you done many festivals, or is this one of your first ones?
Yes, I have.
When I was in a band with Grindstone, we did quite a bit of festivals, but solo-wise, I haven't done any.
So I was just curious, what kind of mental thought are you putting together before you come to a festival? Every venue has a different kind of space and energy. So what are you bringing when you come to that show on September 9th at Briarfest?
I'm just trying not to screw up. That's all.
Trying not to screw up. No, that's good energy.
I feel like bringing just solid enthusiasm to our set.
Yeah.
And just,
I feel like also when I never have a set list, so I'm always trying to base it off the crowd. So for stuff like this, I'm I just want to make it a party. I want to do all my faster songs or more upbeat songs that are going to get people going. So you guys call
them as you go?
We do, but we might make a set list for this one just because it's not typically when we play shows together. I feel like a lot of them have been it's a 3-hour gig. So we're just what's the vibe? Who's requesting what?
Yeah. But, and that's again, we always, both of us solo wise, we get requests all the time. And so we're learning songs as we're just learning a random song
on the fly.
Yeah. So with this, no one's I feel like going to come up and request a song. So we're going to have to.
We're going to make a set list. It's happening.
Well,
it's happening.
I think we're going to try and tie it in a little bit.
Tell them all the things that we're doing.
Yeah. So
I saw School of Rock was playing there.
Yeah. So with School of Rock, they've been in several festivals, right?
Every festival I put on, they have participated.
So they'll be there.
Nice.
And we're going to kind of pull that angle, right? So to see what happens to young musicians as they grow older, right, and stick with it. So I think that's going to be, and we
got Pathfinder.
Pathfinder was another School of Rock.
Yeah, that's
right?
Eli Fromick.
Yeah, he'll be
band.
giving us a play.
Yeah, so I was in Grindstone with him. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Eli,
he's amazing. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of those kids that know of you and probably you too, Jillian, that are going to find that, that's wow, these guys are good. We want to be like them.
I feel like in this past couple year or so, I feel like the not emo, but the hard metal rock scene is coming in full force, is coming back in. And I feel like a lot of kids from School of Rock, that's what they're seeing. And I've been seeing so many bands come out of School of Rock, and I just think, I don't know, I think that's amazing because that's what Grindstone was. We were all in the house band.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to get the best of the best house band members. Eli did, put him in a band, and we did that. And so it's just cool to see other kids doing that too.
Did we ever have Grindstone play at Briarfest? Seems like we passed in the
I don't
wind
think
like
so,
I did
yeah.
with Jillian. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are going to play this year. It's really exciting
Yeah, me
for
too.
us.
I love that it's in Northtown. I'm a native Northlander.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm
playing
just,
in your backyard.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
This is our first year doing it there. We've moved it around to some places, but North Kansas City, really, the Parks and Rec people have really embraced it.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's got tons of room. We're going to meet tomorrow for all the staging before it goes on. So, I mean, the stage is huge. It's 2.5 stories
thing
tall.
is
God.
huge. The whole park, everything is.
It's 60 acres.
I was gonna say I played there one time. Mindy Hart got me a gig there, but it wasn't. It was probably a smaller version of what's gonna be happening. So.
Yeah, we're pulling out all the stops, and it's so awesome that people from Kansas City, JE, to JE's credit, I've tried to assemble this thing in 50 different ways, and I reached out to him before it was probably February of this year or earlier, and I said to him, I go, we know a lot of the same musicians in town. I said, is there a way you might help me? Wrap our hands around these folks and talk to them. And what was cool is Jay, he encouraged me. He says, let's go with the local vibe of all these local Kansas City, these awesome artists here. We don't need to go with a big headliner.
Yeah.
Let's give them the time and attention, and because they'll bring their people.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's JE's invention there to the Briarfest thing.
JE.
So awesome to him for doing that.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad you guys were in that list of people to get.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to touch base also on the Briarfest being, one of the things that, festival-wise, Jillian, you doing festivals, and, I think it's such a great opportunity, and a couple of the ones I've been at over the past couple of years is that, most of the musicians in this atmosphere are going to know one another, and there's times where other musicians will get up and they'll go through it, it's kind of just a little mashup, which, I
That's
highly
what's great
recommend.
about Kansas City. Everyone's so supportive here.
Absolutely.
Everyone's so supportive.
Absolutely. So we're excited about doing that. And I know with you guys and the tie-in with School of Rock, I think that's ideal. Again, real quick, we're in the studio with Jillian Riscoe. Is that correct?
There's a lot of vowels in my name.
Riscoe.
and
Yes.
Josephine Duckworth. And again,
Duckworth.
thank you, ladies, so much for being here.
Thank you.
I want to move on real quick. I want to go into
The song that inspired them.
well, no, I just want to, inspiration period. What inspires you? Because you're both sitting down wherever you guys go in your homes or wherever you go and put pen to paper. What is the inspiration that you have when you're sitting down trying to write music? Jillian, why don't you hit that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to touch base on that first?
That is one of those questions. I'm a very indecisive person. So when someone asks me, I'm like, oh my gosh, because if you look at my playlist and things like that, it's just all over the place, all over the map. I grew up listening to 50s and 60s music, and some country and 90s pop. So and I started out in country music, and then I did the pop and rock thing, was in a rock band, and now I'm back in the country world. And so my inspirations are really all over the map. I would say my latest single, for example, I've kind of pulled things from people like Maren Morris and Ashley McBryde and Kelly Clarkson. It's just kind of all over the map. But yeah, that's I don't have a pinpoint because there's just so much.
This song "Decoration" you wrote. What was the inspiration behind it?
So "Decoration" is a song about comparing yourself to others and feeling second best and trying to work your way through that.
Well, I love that about you, Jillian,
Yeah.
when I see you and you're in a position or in a place, the venue allows you to, give a little bit of that information to the crowd, what inspired you, what that song's about. I've seen you a couple times do that, and I think that's pretty cool.
It's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. I feel like it's hit a lot of people in a positive way, so that means a lot.
Did it take you a while to write it, or did it come to you like a rush and you were able to get it all out of you and you're like, bam, there's a song?
I had a little bit of the idea because if I go back to my voice memos on my iPhone, I'm just okay, there's the start of it. And it always, you probably know too, you're when you listen back to some of your voice memos, you're like, what was I? What was this? What?
Right.
And then it turns into something, just totally different.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool. You know, I thought I was the only one that was wacky that left myself messages of
Oh,
different
no, we all do it.
Yeah,
I did it
okay.
last night. I woke up at like
Yeah.
3 a.m. Like I had a thing in my head. I was like, oh my God, I need to.
I do
I
it
need
too.
to record it.
Yeah, this
before-
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the morning, I play
Yeah.
it back. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, man, go back to bed.
Yeah.
the book of lyrics.
Yeah.
A friend of mine and Andy's, Jimmy Nace. I mean, he's got books and books
Mhm.
of just, and it may be a word, it may be a sentence, it may
Or an
be
idea.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? I mean, those go into these books that he, creates, and then he writes great music.
I have a book from when I was like 11 of all my original like stuff that I used to write. And I'm like, this
When
is
you
so
were 11.
embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
But like,
same.
they're so cute. I love keeping it. But now I just put everything on my phone, on my notes. It's just easier.
Well, you
Pulled
can
up really
probably
quickly.
alter
Save
some
those
of
for
those
your
songs and
children's
make them real
songs.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Like-
why don't you tell us a little more on that, Josephine? So, in your inspiration at 11, I'm not sure is going to be the same inspiration.
I don't even,
that you
yeah, I
have
was
now.
gonna say, I don't even remember what my inspiration was then. I had no problems back then. I was a kid.
It was about
Um,
a dollar a cat. Or
Yeah.
something.
My mom didn't let me have candy today. That would be the inspiration.
Candy.
So I'm writing a song right now called Still House with Andy here at Soundworks. And I'm trying to put an album out. Or I wanted to do an EP, but songs just kept coming out. And I was like, I can't just choose like only 4 songs. So I think I'm going to do an album with that. But Still House is the one we're recording currently. And the inspiration for that, there's back roads all by my house. And there's a road called Still House that I used to drive on all the time. And I was like, I really want to have an album called Still House when I was like a sophomore. And I just put Still House in my notes. And I was like, I one day I'll like have I'll figure out something to write about this. And I was going to go visit my sister at the airport, and the flights got delayed like 13 hours. And I was like, I was already there for 8 hours, and I was like, no. I was like, Isaac, come pick me up. It's my brother. So we're driving back home, and there was a road called Levee Road, and I was like, Levee Road. I was like, on Levee Road. And I was like, okay. I was like, I can tie that in with the song. So then I got that lyric, the on Levee Road, my problems go away. And then at the Still House, driving my problems away. So I had those 2 lines. And then nothing came out of it. And then we went to Nashville together to go play at Layer Cake for a private party. And I was in the hotel by myself. My dad was on a work trip too. So I was mainly in the hotel by myself the whole time. And I was like, okay, and I got the inspiration, like just getting in Nashville, like she said, you get inspo in Nashville for some reason. Then the
Yes.
whole song.
Jillian was with you?
No, she hadn't. I don't think she flew in. Oh no, she had just flown in. And I was like waiting to show her as soon as she came in the hotel. I was like, I have to show you. I was like, please tell me if this is good. But I was able to. After I got those 2 lines, I was able to write a whole song within like 40 minutes. So
Awesome.
yeah, but that one's just about driving, and and releasing everything and just like blaring music on the radio,
Sure.
So yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
I want to touch base real quick too on Jillian. You have a song out that Q104 is just giving a whole lot of love to, right?
Decoration. Yeah.
And that's the one.
Yep, that's
the one.
Gotcha. And how did that evolve your relationship with Q104?
So it was interesting. I did a single release show at the Rhino earlier this year, and had my my best friends, Emma Jo and Camber, who came in from Nashville, and we did the show. And sitting in the back was Todd Nixon from Q104, and I didn't know it the whole entire show that he was there. And then he came up at the very end when I got done. He's like, "It's Todd Nixon, Q104." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were even here. I'm so sorry." And he was so nice and so kind. And he enjoyed the song, and I sent him the song. I'm like, hey, if you want to do anything with this winky face, but I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting,
right?
but he did. He
Yeah.
a few days later, I was at so Nick's wife, Missy Marshall, she does my hair, and I was at the salon, and Todd sent me a message. He's like, hey, turn on your radio here in a few, and I'm like, okay. And I turned it on in the salon, and he played it, and he had a lot of nice words to say, and it's been in regular rotation. And I believe, hopefully Todd can tell me this, I feel like I'm correct. I'm the only independent female artist on the station that is in regular rotation this year. So in country radio, that's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing because
it's a huge
that's
thing.
been a good old boys club for a long time.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, so
that's a
it's
great
been,
story.
Yeah, they've been so supportive, that whole station.
So the music is your want, your desire. Is it all you do? Do you have a day gig?
This is what
This
we
is
do.
it.
Yeah, both of us are
Both of
full-time.
you are living and eating this for all you got.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I was say, I've never
love
had like a
that.
real job. Like my parents all were like, when I was little, or like even growing up in high school, they were just like, you're gonna have to work the rest of your life. Like you're not allowed to have a job. Like they didn't allow me to have one. So which
is
I'm thankful
Michelle
for.
booking these for you, and she sets the rate? I mean, since you're playing, and both of you guys know, a lot of the same bands that I know, right? So you've got a pretty good idea what those venue owners are paying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so they don't try to take advantage of you because you're a young gal, do they?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of, not just me though, because I'm young. I feel like there's a lot of places that really try to get you. That they're like, well,
there
this is
no
a great
question.
opportunity.
We're trying to prevent that in this town.
Yeah.
We thought about creating some sort of weird black book.
Yeah.
Okay. Of all the places they shouldn't play.
Ask for
bullshit.
Ted,
Yeah,
Tim,
protect
don't
you,
talk
yeah.
to Jessica. Make sure Jill pays you.
Yeah.
Well,
but
and I don't doubt that a venue owner giving his space up if they've got decent space. I'm, and I've voiced my opinion on this show many times, and I will again. If you've just moved 2 4-tops to make room for a guy, put the fucking 4-tops back and try to sell food off of them, because it's just not a way to put a band in your place. Now, if you've got a stage and you're trying to work either weekends or every day, I mean, there's a lot of venues in this town, and I'm glad there are. And so I don't want to, blackball all of them, but for crying out loud, if you're going to have bands, have enough sense to turn the monitors off, turn the house music down, and pay these fucking people what they're worth.
Right.
So that's my...
in Grindstone, that was like...
That message is paid forward by J.E. Kansas City.
I get into this all the time, and we've had this conversation more and more lately because there's a couple of venues that I know of in town that are trying to still take advantage of the bands. I mean, it I guess is going to be one thing if you're a solo artist and you're getting a gig and all you need to do is sit on a stool, right, and plug in your amp and go to town for a few hours. I'm okay, I guess, but we don't spotlight really any solo artists. I go see a lot of them, but we don't spotlight them. Being in a band is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Being in a duo is the same thing because you're grinding with somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? You've got, you're holding yourself accountable to other people.
Well, that's the thing. You can't, I feel like all these places have the same rate for duos, solo artists, and bands. It's like your solo artist getting paid $300, duo $300, band still the same rate, $300. It's like when you have a full band, I feel like you kind of have to up those sometimes.
Indeed.
Or most of the time, actually.
Yeah.
You should, yeah.
And just not throwing rocks at them. It takes a lot of money to have a place open, license, insurance, the expense of it all. So, what they're really concerned with is, are you going to draw the right crowd?
Yeah. Are you going to make us money?
Are you going to make us money in some capacity? And I think a couple of key components in having a good event or something pulled off well is giving you enough time to tell people about it. And then also to, be upfront with that bar owner's expectations. What is your expectation? My expectation is you should have 50 or 60 of your friends come. Okay, well, if that's your expectation, I'll do my best, but I can't tell you.
Then you start talking about the door, though. I mean, the door's yours if you're bringing the people in.
Right, because you're better off always when you start off taking a guarantee. But your friends don't need to know that. Neither does anyone else when you're trying to sell the tickets.
Yeah.
And if you get a guarantee offered to you and you're able to draw in more people than your guarantee, then not only do you control the booking the next time, you now have a kind of an IOU they owe you because you gave them extra money that night. They just paid you the little guarantee. So, use that to your advantage as your crowd builds.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
that in Nashville, that like half of our friends, actually majority of our friends are
90-something
musicians.
percent.
So like they're
Yeah.
having gigs the same days we're having gigs. So it's
Right.
kind of hard to get them to come
to
out.
support
Yeah.
the other people in the industry.
Because they're doing the same thing as us, and same thing. Like they're all the time not going out there to support them every time because we're doing the same
We
thing
have-
on the same nights. Yeah.
When we're
But
But
playing.
for the most part, we
Right.
try to support. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to run through these real quick if I can read them. Jillian's, yours came out really small, so I got to put
Oh,
the specs
no.
on. So
My font was 8.
okay, you can find Jillian Riscoe at jillianriscoe.com.
JillianRiscoe.com.
She's also on Facebook at Jillian Riscoe Music,
Mhm.
Instagram at Jillian Riscoe, and TikTok at Jillian Riscoe. And then we have Josephine Eve Music on Facebook, where you can find her, and also Josephine Eve Music on Instagram. And Joe, you don't have a website yet, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm not that tech savvy.
Okay.
I don't know how to
One.
do it.
We're going to get you one.
On yours, Jillian, do you have music available? Do you have merchandise?
Are you on
Do wanna
Spotify? Where can people
plug
find
that?
it?
I am on all of the things.
All
Yep.
the
All the
places
things.
All
where
of the places. Yeah.
Gotcha.
fine music can be downloaded.
Yes. Yep. The website. I make sure my show calendar is always updated, and it's going to go through a overhaul soon. So
Okay.
Awesome.
Well,
Nice.
go to jillianriscoe.com and
Mhm.
check that out. And then we've got the last thing I want to touch on is you guys, Jillian, you have some accolades that I wanted to go through. I thought those were kind of cool. Obviously, we talked about Q104, and I thought was really cool, but you didn't put down here that you're doing the stadium.
on a stadium tour.
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, goal, but
No, you're
Cool.
doing
She's playing at the Hoffman Stadium, guys.
Sounds like
we're
3 words.
No, you're singing the
You got
Star
it, Jamie.
Spangled Banner or something.
Yes,
before
yes,
you
there
start.
it is. There it is.
Ding,
But
ding,
hey,
ding,
the other
ding,
one.
There it is.
Okay, no, but you put on here sponsorship by Breedlove Guitars.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, actually that happened as a fluke, which was great. I had a sponsorship back in the day with Daisy Rock Guitars, which was partnered with Schecter Guitars, and then I emailed Breedlove about something totally random, like to their admin on their website, and they emailed back. They're like, "Oh, we looked at your stuff, and this is now off topic, but we would like to sponsor you because it seems like you play your Breedlove everywhere you go." I'm like, "Yeah, that's my work. That's my workhorse. Yeah, like I love my Breedlove, and they sponsored me, so I'm like, okay, cool, great,
Winner,
great
winner.
guitar, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a great line.
And Josephine, you put on your accolades.
First I was like, I don't even know what that word means, and then I was like,
Come
and
So
then
you're
I
a young
got
rock
that.
star.
Yeah.
That's what
Look,
we'll put on there.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows what accolades means. It means high five.
There you go. All right, Robert. Why don't we get ready to
Take
take
'em
us
home?
out? Yep.
Remember, be good to yourself, be good to others, and be good to musicians. Thanks for
Amen.
listening to Kansas City Radio.
This is Stillhouse.
I'll let thee roll, my problems go away. At the still house, driving my problems away. On the boat ride, headed to Midway. But we drank all the liquor, then we drove away. Driving back roads to get the cops away. Running through the woods, the old time we played. On the trumpet, we were doing child's play. But we drank all the liquor, then we drove away.
All right, this is decoration. Paint on the walls inside is fading. I hate it. Please, I'm not here in this room. Something colorful and pretty make me feel like I haven't given up too soon. Hoping to spark some conversation, leave some room for an invitation. When I'm right off the shelf, should I pack it up, move on and go? So, oh, way out on my own, no. Did I meet our expectations? We'll hang it up, oh, knock it down now, now. Add some decoration. Ooh, ooh, oh, yeah. Most days I feel like I'm in the background, like right now. Some days I feel center stage. Things aren't always this way, believe me, and you'll see. I'll see you better days. Hoping to spark some conversation, leave some room for an invitation. Yeah. Should I pack it up, move on and go? So away out on my own, no. Did I meet your expectations? We'll hang it up, oh, knock it down now, now. Not some decoration. Down now, now, and that's some decoration. Ooh, that's some decoration. Oh, oh, yeah. Things aren't always this way, believe me, and you'll see. I'm seeing better days.
Wow.
Thank you. That sounds good.